Alrighty, so we're going to go out camping at Okoboji, Lake Okoboji this year, a couple weeks. I'm here in the camper. I went ahead and hooked up the water, flushed all the lines, got all the antifreeze out of the lines from when I winterized it last year. With that being said, we're just getting it all lined out. So the first things I did is I'm starting early on my pre-flight for this trip. It's only going to be 4 days. First thing I did was get all the lines flushed, get all the air out of the lines, make sure they're running clean. Make sure the filter section is not leaking. Opened up the hot water tank. I had already flushed my hot water heater when we left last year. I maybe should have flushed it again because it's been sitting all winter, but I don't think that was necessary, but that might have been something I should have done. I might do it before we go. That leaves me where I'm at today. I've tested the hot water heater on electric. That's working. Turned the gas on and I heard it kicked on, so I'm sure it's going to be fine. That shouldn't be a problem. Check the refrigerator. Right now I'm running the refrigerator off just the electric, making sure it's going to get cold. I did notice something that I didn't know was there, and somebody that was following my channel mentioned me to check this out. You can actually, even though this says it's an automatic thermostat on this thing, there is a way to make this colder. So this little thing here can actually control the temperature in the refrigerator. If you slide it up, it should make it colder. So yeah, that's a good little piece of information to know. All right, so again, with this refrigerator, we turn it on here and you put it in auto mode, which is pushing the button in, and that will make it go on electric if you have power running to your trailer. And also, this is something I think I figured out last year, but I didn't actually finish testing. If you have your inverter on, your refrigerator will be running off electric. I'm pretty sure that's the case. So you want to make sure auto mode is off if you're running on your inverter, because you'll want it to use gas. The cool part about the auto is if you're leaving things unattended and the power goes off, it'll kick over and switch to gas. But generally, if you're running off solar, you're going to want to turn auto mode off. I'll show you why. This is what it looks like when you turn to just gas mode. You'll be able to hear it clicking, trying to ignite for the gas. We're going to leave that in auto mode. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the inverter. Next, I'm going to go ahead and unplug it from AC power outside. Notice I don't hear any clicking. Let's come in here. Now, we can tell if this is running gas, because if I throw it into gas mode, we should hear it start clicking. There it goes. Hopefully, you heard that, but if not, you can take my word for it. If you have the inverter on, it is running on electric. It's not running on gas. So there you go. The refrigerator will run off battery power if you have it in auto mode. So unless you're plugged into electric on the outside of your trailer, do not run in auto mode. You're going to be running your batteries down. That's probably one reason why we struggled so much on our trip. I assume they do that, so if you're out and about, you're not hooked to AC, and you run out of propane, you could still potentially run your refrigerator for a little while off the solar or your battery store. This is another thing I learned, and I covered it in other videos, but I'm going to do that as part of my pre-flight for this trip, and you should always do it as part of your, before you go out. The air filters on the air conditioning. If you do not have your air filters cleaned out on your air conditioning, it will freeze up. Even if it's 90 degrees outside, it will freeze up, and you will find that it's very unpleasant in here, and you'll be, if you got a little temperature gauge letting you going off, letting you know your dogs are in here and it's getting above 80 degrees, it'll ruin your day. So you want to make sure you have cleaned those filters. Let me show you what they look like. So this is with the cover on. You just pull it right here and there to get it off. Here's what they look like when they're dirty. Now mine were dirtier than this when it completely clogged it up, but as a rule it'd be good just to do this anyway. And they are reusable filters, so you just go and wash them off in the sink. That's all you do. So I'm gonna go get those clean. And you'll never see it, but they do break pretty easily. But again, they are easy to glue, but be careful. The refrigerator has been tested both with electric and gas. The air conditioner is tested, filters are cleaned. The hot water heater is working both off gas and electric, no issues there. No leaks. The furnace we don't need it this time of the year, but we were just using it 2 months ago, so we know that works. So let's continue the rest of our pre-flight. I went ahead and went on the roof and cleaned the roof and inspected all the caulking up there. I have some of the self-leveling caulk and all that stuff I'll have to put up. There's two little spots that could potentially turn into holes. And then there's where I need to put it inside where the hot water heater is. But the rest of the roof looks really good. So that basically I took care of my inspection for the roof. I need to take care of that. And then there's a few things I bought for the trailer on our last trip that I need to install. A couple of them are handlebars. Okay, now you can't put all your weight on those handlebars. The whole point of that handlebar is just to assist you when getting up. And I put another one right here. Again, they're not designed to handle your weight. Basically, it's just to help stabilize you so you don't fall when you're trying to climb over somebody in this bed. That's another reason why I've decided this was a bad choice. Probably would be for anybody that's not single or very young. If you look at the Micro Mini Winnebagos, the 2106, it is actually a walk-around bed. And again, that trailer is only 500 more pounds than this and sells for about the same price. But it's a walk-around bed. That's a big deal. A walk-around queen bed with actual storage underneath it, and a lot of storage in the pass-through underneath the camper. So that's another no-go for this Geo Pro. Another reason why, in hindsight, I realized this was a bad decision. So keep that in mind if you're looking at the Geo Pro. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is make sure the trailer is completely level. So I can check several points on the trailer, and as you can see, it's not level yet. So I'm not center from left to right. Let's see where I'm at from front to back. And now I'm too far to the front. Let's go ahead and also check the floor. The bubble's a little bit too far forward. And let's go left and right, and the bubble's a little bit too far to the left. So let's go ahead and work more on getting this thing level. All right, we got it level. Now, you're never gonna get it perfect, so you check multiple spots and just kind of average it and make sure it's somewhat in the center, because you're never gonna get the trailer perfectly level. Let's go ahead and look at what we got. So here we are on the stove, and as you can see, the bubble is pretty well centered. Let's go ahead and put it this way. Again, pretty well centered. Let's go over here to the sink. As you can see, the bubble is pretty close to center. The trailer's shaking a little bit. Now towards the back of the trailer, we're off a little bit here on the bubble on the countertop. But again, it's only so much we can do, because if you look at the floor at the back of the trailer, you'll see that the bubble's centered. Let's turn towards front and back. And you can see here, it's a little bit towards the front. Let's go to the middle of the trailer. And so it's about the same here in the middle of the trailer. Let's turn left to right, and it's a little off there, but let's go to the front of the trailer. It's almost close to center again, as you can see on the floor. But let's go ahead and go up to the bed and see where it's at. And you can see on the bed, it's a little bit to the one side. Let's go over here to the TV area. Pretty close to center. Let's go to the opposite side of the trailer. As you can see, it's pretty close to center. Keep in mind, it doesn't have to be perfect. You generally won't notice if it's not perfectly level in the camper. So let's go to the front. All right, and fortunately I can use this line. It's pretty level on mine. Let's go ahead and check it out. It's pretty even with the line here, and it's pretty well level. So let's go ahead and use this line as the guide for the level I'm going to mount on the camper. As you can see, this line is pretty well level, so it won't cosmetically look funky if we mount this on the line. All right, so there we go. We got this one mounted, and it's all level. Now let's go to the front. This line on the front isn't even close to being level. As you can see, it's completely to the one side. So when we mount the sticky level, we'll need to put off a little ball to the side. So I'm going to clean that area and put that on. All right, there we go. All mounted and leveled. And by using that decal as reference, they're fairly in line with each other and look like they have a purpose there, other than being one not set in the right spot compared to the other. So they follow through with the line and they look cool. One other thing I did is I noticed this wasn't draining correctly, so I loosened this off and cleaned out that. It was a good time to do that. You'll know if it's getting clogged with junk, the water won't flow out. This is how it should be flowing, nice and steady. So here's something to be aware of if you have a water miser. I found this part and I didn't know what it was for, and I thought I put it somewhere. I figured, well, it'll turn up at some point and I'll know where it goes when I see it. And I can't find the part because it was a long time ago. But keep in mind, the handle falls off pretty easy on the water miser. So you'll want to keep tabs on that and probably tighten the heck out of that thing to make sure it stays on. Found it. I didn't know what it was for because I didn't notice that this was missing until just today. So one of the upgrades we just did was a new shower head. I got this at Walmart for like 30 bucks. It's this guy right here, Oxygenics. And it apparently has a little turbine in it that will inject air into the water, making it have more pressure. Kind of like a hot tub when you add air to the water jets and it has more pressure. The shower head that we had that came with it was really quite pathetic. The only thing I don't like about this is this isn't going to be very good for driving down the road. It will just pop out. So you want to take it out when you're not using it. Probably put that there. And then when you're traveling, you probably want to store it like in this or something. I'll figure out something, but you don't want it hanging up because it'll just fall. Now you can take this off and not have this thing, and then you could just use the water miser if you wanted to save water. If it doesn't have this, it will tend to stay in there, I think, just fine. But otherwise, this extra inch really makes it so this would just pop out really easy. So that's what this shower head looks like. Quite a bit more. In fact, you can see when it's hanging, it actually pushes itself back a little bit. It's got quite a bit more pressure. So I think that was worth the upgrade. I kept this that was on there and then use the screws that came with the old one and just use the top hole that's behind here. You'll have to make a new hole. But these are the screws that came with the shower head. Don't use these. These are way too long. So anyway, so far I think it was a good purchase. So I would recommend that. I think we'll let you know how it does if it holds up. Another thing I picked up and I've been meaning to do for a while is I got one of these from Walmart. This is for a sheetrock to protect it from a doorknob, putting a hole in the door. But you really probably want to put something here. Now our door wasn't damaged. I did this preemptively because when this door opens and you have the metal shelf that goes along here, it comes out to about right there, and so it would hit right there. So with this where it's at, it pretty much will protect anywhere when you open that door. So that's one of the other things we've done. Also, I really like this net that I added for storage, but it really would start to sag down when you had a lot of stuff in it. And so I added these two hooks on the front. I wanted to put two more hooks on the back because it really should have two hooks there too. Unfortunately, there's nothing solid right here to anchor to. Right now I have just a fiberglass rod coming through here. Gives it a little bit more support, but not really. I'm gonna have to do something different. But this right up here in front is gonna help a lot. Because we got rid of the closet, one other thing I think we'll do is I'm thinking I'll put a thing that would come out right about here, and we could put a closet rod. And then if we needed to hang clothes, we could just hang them here. Even if it was just, you know, so you had Robin's had a dress or I had a suit or something and we needed to hang it, it'd be somewhere. I mean, it probably doesn't have to go all the way across. I mean, we could just make something short, you know, that would maybe just be even this far, and then you could hang stuff right here. That would be something we'll probably add at some point. So everything is ready to go. Everything's been checked and tested. We are heading to Lake Okoboji here in Iowa, and we're gonna do some boating, and that was our prep for this trip that's coming up. I did buy also a spray to treat the rubber, which I did. Also slide out lube to treat the rails. So I got that as well, and I went ahead and treated that. There's plenty of videos on that stuff. All you do is spray it on, and that's it. It's pretty easy to use. So this is the lube and protectant that you can get for the pop out. I saw it on another YouTube video, I don't remember where, but he recommended it. But anyway, I just bought it off Amazon. This is what I got to protect the rubber seals around the slide out. You just spray this on and it helps just keep them from getting brittle. That's the two things that I purchased and applied to the camper.